Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Al. Good morning. Okay. I'm sure we're going to have people drifting in Saturday morning. Makes sense. Any professor knows that the students never all come in by the assigned time, and anytime you have a meeting, you never get everybody here at the same time. But before we get into business plans, I want to take a little segue here for about 5 minutes. Unfortunately, this tells you a little bit about my lifestyle. Last night, tired, I go home. What do? I go and watch the TV. Oh. But at 7 o'clock on Friday night, there's a show on. Awesome show. Anybody ever see the Shark Tank? Yeah. Hey, got one on the back row and one other person. The Shark Tank. It's an awesome show. 7 o'clock Friday night. Tape it. Because I'm not even home every Friday night, believe it or not. Some nights I do go out. I have a life, okay? But last night I watched the Shark. My wife reminded me. The Shark Tank was on. The Shark Tank is a group of 5 investors who sit in a panel, and you, any one of you, have a business idea and you want money, you come into that room and you try to get money from them. Now the rule of the game is, and I'm going to give you an example last night and where I'm going with this. The first person was a lady who wanted $125,000 for 20% of her company. A lot of money. You're only going to get 20% for 125. Wow. So the company's worth $750,000 roughly, right? She had sales of about 100 grand. I forget the exact number. So of course they're all over this. You really think your company's worth it? And what she was selling and had were she would take pretzels of all sorts, rods and regular pretzels and small pretzels, and put chocolate on them. Sounds pretty common, right? But she had a twist to it. She put butterscotch chocolate flavors, peppermint flavored chocolate, all kinds of different flavors, and put sprinkles on them. And she was selling a heck of a lot of these to some good stores. And she needed money to expand. So the Sharks, there's a woman on there and 4 guys usually. And one guy is kind of the head guy. He's kind of mean. He said right away, this is a joke. I'm not going to give you any money because I can get anybody to do what you're doing. Okay? Mark Cuban. Anybody know Mark Cuban? Mark Cuban owns the Mavericks. Billionaire. Made his money during the internet era. He's one of the guys on the panel. He loved the idea. He loved the idea. And he told this guy who said he didn't like it, said, look, you just don't like it because, anybody can do it. But this lady, it's not like anybody. This lady is passionate about what she's doing. And you could tell she was. She was passionate about it. He said she really wants to live and breathe this. She wants to grow it. And so this guy's out. And they asked the lady a question. They said, why do you think we should invest in your business? If you can answer that, maybe we'll invest. Well, unfortunately, she gave him a bad answer. She said, I'm doing it for my family, and I want to do it for my kids. I said, oh, my God, that's a horrible answer. Just horrible answer. We said, I'll tell you what, we'll give you 30 seconds. We want you to think again and give us a better answer. So, of course, the lady, I'm waiting, bated breath, because I like this lady. This lady was a really nice lady, and you wanted her to get the money. So she finally said, well, I had turned down an order from Sam's Club for $2 million a week ago. These people said, oh, my God, that's the perfect answer. That is what we want to hear. She never told us. She said, my God. So, of course, Mark's looking at this guy who already dropped out like, sorry son of a gun. Mark Cuban finally invested in that lady. He gave her the money, $150,000. He said, I love the product. I love you. I'm going to give you the money, and I'm going to put it at my Mavericks games. I'm going to put it in all my movie theaters that I own. He owns Landmark Theaters. He says, I love your product. Yeah. All because this lady had the passion and the personality. So where am I going with this? Well, the next guy comes in. He's got an unbelievable product. I fell in love with this product as soon as he showed it to me. It was like IKEA furniture that could be put together in 2 minutes by a klutz like me without tools. My wife literally puts everything together in my household. Seriously, I'm just not very good. And this stuff, you didn't need any instructions or any tools to put together this modular furniture. Because there was a patented design of all these slits. And you just put it together, and you had a little thing you turned on with at the end. I can't explain, but in 30 seconds, he had built this shelf. I mean, it was unbelievable. Great product. And I'm thinking these guys are going to give him what he wants. I forget exactly how much he wanted. I think he wanted $250,000 for 10% of the company. Yeah, it was, $250,000. So they started asking him, they said, well, how many have you sold? He said, well, I haven't sold any yet, because I just got the patent and doing this, doing that. And, well, what else are you doing? He says, well, I have 70 other inventions I made in my company. And they said, well, ooh, how many of those did make money? He said, well, out of 70, we have one that made, I sold 10,000 units of this one thing, made about $100,000. So, of course, these guys are pretty good. And this guy came off as a real kind of know-it-all guy, okay? Wasn't a real personal guy. Wasn't real passionate about that. He was an inventor, not an entrepreneur, okay? Guess what happened? Not one person invested in this gentleman. He had the better product. Think about a product that could sell more of dollar-wise. Modular furniture that's really nice looking stuff that can fit together very easily versus pretzels, chocolate covered pretzels. The whole thing behind this story is that you or anybody else will tell you that any investor, if you have a great idea, really good, an A idea, and a C personality or a C business team, management team, or you have a management team and a C idea, who are you going to invest in?
The A team.
The A team. That lady was the A team. She was awesome. I mean, I really wanted to invest in her. I want to invest in his product just like they did. By the way, they made him an offer. They said, look, we'll give you $250,000 that you owe to your investors for this and break you even and get out. He turned it down. He turned it down. Okay? But he was if you had seen the show, the guy was very, like they said, they didn't want to work with him. They had not one of the five wanted to work with this guy. Because they just felt that he wasn't a business guy, wasn't passionate about the product, and was somewhat of a jerk. And where this other lady comes in, was a housewife actually, who made this product as a, she had a good job, decided to stay home with her kids, and decided to start this pretzel business out of her house. They invested in her. Just a nice story. But the whole thing, again, is you've got to have the right team, the right attitude when you go in there, when you're trying to sell somebody on something, and not let your product sell itself. Because no matter how good it is, it's you that they're buying. It is you. Okay? So I wanted to start out with that because I don't think we're going to cover that today. Although the management, maybe I'm stepping on Bobby a little bit, I hope not. But last night, again, if you ever get a chance, tape the show, the Shark Tank, 7 o'clock on Channel 13. It is fun. It is fun. They had two other people come in last night. One got money, one didn't. It's kind of fun how they, you know, this one guy, I end on this. This one guy was selling ions in watches or something to keep your balance or something. I don't know what. And Mark Cuban right away said, that is a scam. This poor guy I thought was going to, you know, go to pieces. He said, I've been there, done that. This thing's been out there for years. It's a scam. And here's this poor guy on TV. And then another guy called him a liar. So it's a brutal show. It's brutal, okay? I mean, this guy, I'm serious. I don't know how he was standing at the end of his 15 minutes. Because one guy said, you're selling a scam. You're trying to promote a scam. Another investor said, you're a liar. And brutal show. But watch it. It's fun, okay? Well, anyway, this morning we're ready to talk about business plans. Okay? How many of you in here have done a business plan? Wait, we're higher. Wow. Good. 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 How many have done one that you've shown other people to either get money or to, you have? Okay, all right. Were you successful?
At the time.
At the time, yeah. Good. You? Good. Okay, good. Because what we want to do this morning, we're not going to talk a whole 2 hours. We'll be off and on other things maybe, but talk a little bit about why you do a business plan and what the elements are and how you can really make an effective business plan. Okay? And it's important to know that you know, the plan is not the whole business. Okay? We'll talk about that. But again, it's an element, or something you need, whether you're going for funding or not. And we're going to talk about that this morning. Okay? Let's get started. So why have a business plan? First reason, funding, right? We just said you went for funding. Back in the, before 2001, April 2001, anybody remember April 2001? What happened then? Remember, September 2001, we all remember, unfortunately. We all remember that. But April 2001 was also something very big that happened in the United States.
Dot-com bubble burst.
Thank you. .com bubble burst. It was April 2001. Prior to that time, probably anybody in here that had an idea could have gone out and gotten money for it.
Yeah.
People were giving money away left and right. I was out there. I mean, it was the craziest time. And then about 2003, I went to a company. We're trying to raise $500,000. Nobody listened. Nobody had money. Nobody wanted to talk to Al or anybody else about the startup. Oh, God, no. Are you kidding me? We lost our shirts. We're still trying to recover. We're still bleeding. Okay? My point is, before 2001, you could have had a business with no business plan. You could have written it on the back of a piece of paper, or you could have just talked to somebody and they wrote the check. After everybody lost their shirts, you got to have a business plan to get funding. I know of no one personally that has gotten money without a very good, solid business plan. No one in the last 12 years. Okay? Funding's the first reason. Roadmap. What do we mean about a roadmap?
Focused.
Focus. What's somebody else?
Plan to get there.
Plan to get there? Yeah. I always use the example in my classes that if any of us were to take a trip down to the lower 48 or to Europe for a month, you do some planning. You figure out how much money you needed, that you had your visas together, you had an idea of where you're going to stay, just at least so your relatives know or whatever. You do some planning. Now, a few of you probably wouldn't, okay? Probably the younger you are, they're probably carefree. I'm just going to go backpack and do my thing. But most of us, you get a little older, you get a little more conservative. You're going to plan. That's what you got to do for your business. Where are you going to go? How are you going to get it started? Where are you going to go? How are you going to get there? It's a roadmap that takes you from A to Z, okay? Hopefully you've covered all the things you need to cover. Another reason is you want intimate knowledge. If you really dig in and do a good business plan, research it well, I guarantee you're going to find out some things you never knew about that business.
Yeah.
Right? Have you done that? Yeah. We got some head shaking, yeah. Every business I've gotten into, you will find things out as you research, things you never, ever thought. I always like it when people say, we don't have any competition in this market. You think that's true?
Yeah.
There's not one thing out there that doesn't have some sort of direct or indirect competition, new or old idea. Okay? And you need to find out about that. You need to find out what's going on. You need to dig in and get all that knowledge so that you don't make a mistake. Business plans are done not just to get money, but to save money. Because there have been people who have done business plans and they've come up and said, you know what, I am glad I did that plan. And you ask them why, I said, well, I was going to put $1 million into it and I found out I would never succeed. There was somebody already out there. By the way, I'm one of them. I had a little company that was doing a microphone deal for rooms and for connecting to your phones and everything. And then and for your cell phones, and way before they had in your cell phone a speakerphone. And we were ready to launch it, and Bluetooth came out. And now we knew about Bluetooth. We had engineers. We knew about it. Never thought it would be that quick to market, though. And we said, okay, within a year, Bluetooth's going to own the market. We're going to have a year. We're not going to make enough money. We closed the business down rather than making the changes. Okay? So at least we saved money. We lost money, but we saved money by not going forward. Okay? Because, the more we looked and the more we researched. So you got to really get into it and know what's going on. What do I mean by persuasion?
Somebody can be talked into it, they can be talked out of it.
Talked into it. And who you want to talk into is probably maybe somebody that you need to come and help you as a skill set that they have that you don't have, like a marketing person that you know that says, hey, Mary, you've got exactly what I need for this new company. I know you got a nice job at BP, but I've got this opportunity for you. I can't pay you quite as much as you're making, but I can give you a little equity. I can make. So you got to persuade them. I'll tell you what, if I'm Mary, I'm going to say, let me see the plan. First thing I want to say is, you have a plan? You know where we're going? Because if I'm going to go down that road with you, I want to make sure I want to know I can get from A to Z. And we may fail, but at least we're going to give it a try with something in writing and that we've got something that we know all the ifs, ands, and buts about. Okay? So you got to persuade people. Also persuade bankers. This also ties into your funding. Okay? Persuasion. You avoid mistakes, save time. Just like I said, you can avoid a lot of mistakes by doing a business plan and not putting that $1 million in and realizing that something's out there that was going to just knock you back, okay? Or you make changes. I've seen that many, many times. You go through the business plan. The one I'm going to give you this morning, if you want it, I'm going to make copies of it. It took first place last year in the business plan competition. It's called the Great Northern Peonies. Okay, the two students that did this, husband and wife team, did an excellent job. They wrote a great plan. But as we worked on this plan, we started out with one idea on how we could do that project, okay? And we literally flipped it around by the end of the time frame. We flipped it around because there was a better way to do it as we worked through it. We said, no, that's too difficult. We already have people out there growing. How are they going to come in and be part of ours, and how are they going to collaborate with us, et cetera, et cetera. So we found a way, we think, that we could pull everybody together and make it a really viable business for whoever starts this and runs with it, okay? So we kind of flipped it around on its head, all right? And that's what you do, okay? We save time by really digging in, getting into the knowledge, working on it, and not making those mistakes of going down the road that probably would have led to failure. So you really have to do a lot of that. Oh, test your commitment, okay? You put a good business plan. We've got a lot of you shaking their heads again, yeah. You put a plan together. This is going to test your commitment. Are you really going to go through with it after you know what it's going to take? Time and money and effort, and you got competition. Can I succeed? Do you have that commitment? Do you have that courage? Do you have all that dedication, confidence, everything we talked about yesterday? Do you have it? Do you have it? To test your commitment big time, okay? So anyway, there's what the things that you have to think about writing a business plan. Now, who does the business plan? It's only one thing up. Now, I know you got your books in front of you. You got me yesterday on that. You're not going to get me again. You already made me look like a fool, okay? I forgot you had the damn book, to be honest with you, okay? They were all cheating you. You weren't here, Becky. They were all cheating. They were reading the book. I asked them questions. I thought they were a really, really great, smart group. I think they are, but they had the book in front of them, too. It's like an open book exam. Okay, don't look at it. Who didn't look at the book and can answer this? Come on, anybody? It's the management team. I know people that send out and they say, I'm going to have somebody do my business plan for me. Okay? You better work with that group or you're not going to get back what you want. Okay? And I would suggest save the money that you would pay somebody anywhere from $5,000 to even $20,000 I've seen people pay for a business plan, which is outlandish, I think. But you can do it yourself with your management team in several months if you really put your mind to it part-time. If you do it full-time, you can do it a lot quicker. No matter how many people you have, you may be able to do it a little quicker. But the management team's got to be involved. You've got to get, your marketing person, if you have them, and your operations person and others to tell you, and how do you think it's going to go? What are you going to do? And how we're going to do it. Because I'm not a marketing person. If I were to sit down and write a plan for any business, I would need to get somebody to help me with the marketing end. I'm still learning about social media. I'm too old to learn it quickly. Probably never will learn it. What are you laughing at, Steve? You're with me, okay. As long as you're with me, okay? As long as you're with me. All right? But, we got people in here as young as the early 20s, and you guys are right into the, the social media will be with you the rest of your lives. It's going to be right there with you. And, that's a big way to market these days. It's still a little scary to me, But anyway, you got to get that management team together and build the plan. All right? Now, developing a business plan. It's always going to be a work in progress. Don't ever think that you just put it on the shelf and forget it or whatever. You're going to continue to update it. We're going to see a little bit more about that in a minute. But the plan is also not the business. Remember, it's just a plan. Okay? You're the business. Your management team's the business. But the plan is your roadmap. It's how you're going to be successful, hopefully, in this business. So the plan is not the business. At the same time, as we said, it's a work in progress. The plan's obsolete at the printer because every single time that I've written a plan or had a plan written with my students, by the end we said, oh my God, there's another change we can make. It's this or that. And then you finally get to the point and say, no, I got to get it to the printer, okay? And you know those changes. You make them later on. But every 3 months or so, if you have a plan in your business, you ought to go look at it and update it, okay? And update it. Because it's always going to be obsolete. The things just change in this world way, way too quickly, okay? So now we're on to the sections of a business plan. Now a lot of you know the sections, I think. You go to the bookstore, Barnes & Noble, there's got to be at least 30, 40 books that tell you how to do a business plan. There's one for business plan for dummies, right? There's everything out there, and they're all different. So any way, shape, or form you can do a business plan. However, the ones I'm going to walk you through, the sections I'm going to walk you through, I think from research and from the books, the textbooks I have, is one of the better ways, and I'm going to explain why, okay? Why I think this particular format is a good one, all right? And you can argue, and I won't argue back, because there's a lot of different things you can do with a business plan. But the format that I'm going to show you and the plan I'm going to give you, I think will, add up in your own mind why it's one of the better ways to do it, okay? First section, executive summary. When is that written? Thank you. Last, because that is a summary of everything you've written in the plan. How long is it? Page and a half to 2 pages usually. Depends on the business. All right? It is a key, though, the key element to the plan. A lot of times you go for funding, all they want is the executive summary. A lot of people are busy. It's like your resume. I always compare a business plan to a resume for a lot of reasons, okay? It's got to be succinct, got to be thorough, no errors. All these things have to come through. Executive summary. If you give that to a banker or to an angel investor or a venture capitalist, they should be able to know what that business is within those pages, those 1 and a half to 2 pages. It's like your resume. You ought to come through. Okay? Elevator pitch, 90 seconds.
Can I talk something here?
Sure, please. No, anybody. Absolutely.
Executive summary. I've got a little different approach to that. I agree it's written last, but on the plans that I've worked with people, I end up having to write the executive summary twice. And it's once at the very beginning that kind of organizes, it gives you a roadmap of where you think you're going. And then you get into the business plan, and it's always going to change. But at least it gives you a thumb point, a thumbnail of where you think you want to go and how you're going to get there. If you start working your way through the plan, it's always going to change. You're going to find other directions, and then at the end, at least you have this basic guide. Then at the end, you write the real executive summary of where you actually went through the plan. But it helps people focus at the very beginning on trying to get a succinct one-page idea of where this business is going.
Yeah, and certainly I wouldn't disagree at all. Yes, Rick.
And just another comment. This is not a place, this section, to be shy. Students sometimes think, well, I'll warm them up a little bit before we actually get to the ask for how much money it is. And if you don't put some of this stuff right up front, people are like, I don't have time for this business plan.
Oh, I agree. In fact, the last section in the executive summary, your last paragraph should ask and have funding in there. If you're going for funding, saying we're looking for $1 million, so you don't put in there what you're going to give away or what you would give away in the way of equity. You ask, though, or say in there what kind of funding you're asking for, and your financials should support that.